Welcome. Welcome to SMRITI. And today we have our esteemed scholar back for the episode 2, Dr. Sarada Purna Sonty garu. Sarada garu, welcome again. Thank you for being here to share your knowledge.
Vani and my dear viewers, very happy to be here. This is the second episode, and let us start with invoking that Akshara Shakthi. Omkari krita manjulanana mahainkonkara binvasana Srinkara Shravanaika Yukmaruchira Srikara Sampatkari Shanka Bhanjani Sadhuranjani Jagat Samskara Bijankuri Sanketa Shruti Padmacharini Namaskaram Bhuvagvadini.
Such a beautiful prayer, Sarada garu. Thank you. Just a quick refreshing on what happened so far. In our previous episode, the very first one we recorded in this series, you introduced the concept of Aksharapadeeyam. You spoke on Tattva, a method of inquiry, emphasized on the sound and alphabet, its significance and relevance. Further, to continue in this episode, could you please expand more on our topic, Aksharapadeeyam? Seems to be a somewhat relatively new concept for me, at least, and for some viewers. Please, Sarada garu.
In the introductory episode, I started introducing Aksharapadeeyam. The word itself is a new coinage. I had grounds, very happy and strong, and I'm comfortable talking about Aksharapadeeyam. And in course of my study and my tutelage under my guru, Vishwanatha Achyutadevarayal garu, I was taught and I was introduced into this path. And I always wondered during that time whether my thought process, my thinking, my theory, my understanding of the speech process will be accepted by my fellow scholars and other researchers and other friends. Then I was told not to, and I was directed to move forward. So here I am. And we all are endowed with this speaking ability. Vak, that is the word that was given. So what is Vak? What are words? What are sentences? What are paragraphs? What are stories? What is literature? What is language? Finally, what are letters? The alphabets that we speak. We can answer all those questions because we have constructed them and modified them and made into theories, and we named them and documented them. So we become the analysts of language and literature. For us, the word represents and presence is knowing. Knowledge and knowing is what the word presents to us.
So, question here, is a philosophical approach necessary?
Yes, we can hear, we can understand, and we can put it into a process of what we hear through our ears. So, what is happening before the utterance? There is only one way the speech comes out, that is our oral cavity. What is happening before that stage? And every word that we present or we talk is highly meaningful, insightful, and philosophically illuminating. Why would I say philosophically illuminating? Once we express our love, anger, hatred, peace in words, that is in language, afterwards we feel very happy, purposeful, and successful that we have communicated what we wanted to communicate. We understand the world only in terms of words. These are from within. We understand our thinking, our experiences, our emotions, everything in terms of words only. Every wakeful second, there is a process that's going on within, that is cognition. Because of the languages we create, cognition is happening. Words we make find their way out of our system, that is our inner realms, outward through our oral cavity. So, what determines the words we speak determines our cognition. Our cognition is what we want to communicate. So, we need to underline the word cognition, knowing, known, knowledge, which doesn't have a form or a script. Can we create a script for that? Can we create a script for jnana or for our thoughts? Without the help of linguistic elements, we cannot express ourselves. We cannot cognize things, or we cannot express our knowledge. So it is very important. Without the help of linguistic elements, concepts will not form. But where are they? Concepts leads to perception. First we conceive a thought. Remember that. That is the first stage. We conceive a thought, and that concept of the thought becomes a perception, because we try to express it and see it as a model in the world. And then that becomes a belief. That becomes a faith. Faith goes into religions. And then we start rituals. Thus we create the entire world. Cognition manifests as expressions about the effects of the world. The world of experiences, that is what we go through inside, or the language, the literature we speak out, they are dependent on only one principle. That unique principle is unitary linguistic principle, that is called Shabda Tattva. It is philosophical. So philosophical approach is very much needed to understand our cognition. And let me go a little further down with this. This Shabda Tattva or unitary linguistic principle goes in two levels. The first level is a stage before expression, language viewed as a tattva, a Shabda Tattva, a philosophy, or unknown, unmanifest energy level. The second level is utterance, the language viewed as act of speech, that is Ucharana Kriya. So, two levels are here. Shabda Tattva, Ucharana Kriya. So, Tattva and Kriya. Unmanifest and manifest. Word and world. To combine these two and to understand the process, we do have to take a philosophical approach. Tattvika Drishti is very much needed. And one more thing we can go into. Only after we express, we speak, we can talk about the phenomenal world. Anything we speak of is because of the word that is formed within. And it is understood by a meter, a pramana, a proof, a rujuvu. So what are the pramanas? We need to talk about it.
Beautiful.
Should I go continue with the pramanas?
Yes, please. Please do.
Okay. Shabda Pramana is a huge study in years for millennia. And human makes sounds. Rest of the living beings also make sounds. Creatures make sounds. Birds make sounds. Dolphins make sounds. Every living being can make a sound. But what is the difference? And this sound we can call it Dhvani, Shabda, Nada. There are two levels in this. Depending upon the potency, the meter, the strength, the meaning, the purpose, and the structure and the form, these are two different kinds. The speech of human being, the sounds of the rest of the animal kingdom. Okay? In these two, human sounds, that is, Dhani, Shabda, Nada, human makes, gives away our subtle body, gross body, and intellectual body workings and doings. That means we as human, we have three levels: Bhautika, Mano, Jnana, Dehas. That are subtle body, gross body, and an intellectual body. And the workings of these three bodies are expressed through words. So, what is the conditioning here? How do we do that? And how is it different from birds? Birds, animals, and other living beings can express only the emotional need and physical need. There is no analytical, rational, mental, intellectual capacity in those animals. So what happens is the Prana Shakthi we have, the human, has an ability called Aksharopadana Shakthi. Akshara Utpadana Shakthi. That means our Prana Shakthi can transform and transcend into a different energy, that is Akshara creating capacity. That means our intellectual mind can be expressed. This doesn't happen in animals and birds. They can express only their emotions and their physical needs, fears, and mating needs, and all those. So, sounds with the Aksharas are human ability. Sounds only with emotions are the rest of the living beings' ability. See, sounds with the Aksharas can give away Bhasha, a language, Alochana, a thought, Jnana, knowledge, Bhava, feeling, and Akshara, the utterance. Sounds of birds can give away only two things: Bhava, Icha, that is thought and desire. This is beautifully, magnanimously proclaimed by our Vedas. They say, Rucho Akshare Parame Vyoman. That's the word. Our doctrine, Rigveda, in first mandala. Oh, and Atharva Veda in 9th canto also says the same thing. Are you following me?
Yes, I am. Please. Yeah.
Okay. Here, Vyoma means space, Akasha. So here it says, Rucho Akshare Parame Vyoman. The Aksharas are born out of Akasha. That means the utterance, the speech basic bricks, the letters are born from Akasha, from space. So where is the space? In human body, where is the space? The Mooladhara Chakra, Swadhisthana Chakra, Manipura Chakra. These three chakra places, that means our navel area, Nabhisthalam. That's where the Aksharasthana is. that is where the Prana Shakthi starts moving, at Nabhisthana. So these three chakras pushes this prana. Prana is combination of Agni and Vayu. And Jala Lakshana is also there. Jala Lakshana is nothing but the fluidity, flow. So this Prana Shakti that moves is a Maha Chaitanya Shakti. Veda gave a beautiful name for this. Nitya Chaitanya Pravaha Gunashila Prana Shakti is nothing but Saraswati. So life energy itself flows in the form of Saraswati. And energy, it has Agni is the main element, main product. Agni always goes Urdhvamukham, upward. That means Purohitam. From where it's starting, it's going to higher. That means it's transcending it, transcending. So this transcendence of this prana energy is because of the Agni. And this Prana Shakti with Agni and Vayu moves forward. When it moves forward, it comes to Hridaya Chakra. We have talked about it. Hridaya means it's not the fist-sized flesh that pumps blood and makes a lub-dub noise. It is a place where the prana energy starts making sounds. It picks up the Aksharas. And the Akshara Shakti, it is a capacity by itself, and it is a Agni by itself. It picks up in Hridaya Sthana. And what happens? That starts moving forward, Urdhvamukham Purohitam. And this Prana Shakti comes to Kantha. In Kantha Sthana, it picks up, it transforms into sound. That is the sthana for sound formation. Here, I will continue just a little bit more with this.
Yes.
In Kantha area, it picks up prana swaras. That means there is no touch at all. There is no sparsha in Kantha area. So prana swaras will form in Kantha area. It moves forward into the Vak Gahvaram. That means oral cavity. In this oral cavity, in this Kantha Sthana, that is the guttural, we have 8 muscles. In oral cavity, we have 6 articulation points. In 6 articulation points, we make all these varnas, swaras, aksharas, letters, the worldly languages say, and the alphabets. And we said I said in the Aksharapadeeyam that there are 26 of them.
Yes, I was going to ask you that. You mentioned 26 when you brought out letters in different languages around the world. Yes, thank you so much. Please do elaborate on why 26. How 26?
World languages have different number for their alphabetical structures and alphabetical numerology. Every language has their own particular number. We talked about them in our first episode. Now let's only talk about the 26. How did we come up with this number? This oral cavity we have it's a cave of almost 2 by 2 by 3. That means 2 inch width, 2 inch breadth, and 3 inch height. Or maybe a little bit more or less, depending upon the body of the human being. Okay? In this, we have 6 articulation points. Gutturals, palatals, cerebrals, dentals, labials, and nasals. These are explained as Kanchamu, because the sthana is Kantha. Palatal, Thalapyamu, because Thalu is the size of the mouth. Cerebral, the roof of the mouth, Murdhanyamu. Dental, Dantyamu. All speech comes through the danta only. Labials, Ostyamu or Pedavi, we call it. 2 labials. There is another batch of letters that comes through the nose. So here, what we have is, we have 3 vowels, consonants, means sparsha. Vowels are Prana Aksharas, no touch, no sparsha. Consonants are stops and sparsha. So the sounds that we can make are ka, cha, ta, ta, pa. 5. Only those 5. Okay. And the others, these are all coming from 5 areas, remember? Ka guttural, cha palatal, ta cerebral, ta dental, pa labial. And if we introduce another dimension, that is the height, gahvaramu, that means cerebral. If these letters flow through the cerebral, ka becomes ga, cha becomes ja, ta becomes da, ta becomes da, pa becomes va. So 5 and 5, 10. So let's go back. 3 vowels, 10 consonants. Okay? And 5 nasals. Nga, nya, na, na, ma. Nasal of every articulation point.
Right.
Ka is a guttural nasal sound. Nya is a palatal nasal sound. Na is a murdhanya, cerebral nasal sound. Na is a dental nasal sound. Ma is a labial nasal sound. So these 5. So now we have 3 plus 10 plus 5. This is what we have right now. And there are 4 more. When the tongue pushes the sounds, sa, sha, sa, ha. These are aspirants. These are called ushma. The air is pushed along with the sound. There is no complete touch. There is a capsule of air is used and pushed through a particular place. S. That means it's dental. S. The tip of the tongue pushes the air capsule through the dental. And sha, like the sha in my name, Sharada. That means it's a palatal. That means it's introduced another concept. Sh is a dental. Ha is a guttural. So, sa, sha, sa, ha. 4 of them. And then go to the next category. Ya, ra, ra, wa. These 4 don't have touch, but it takes extra effort. So what is happening? 3 plus 10 plus 5 plus 4 plus 4, 26. Depending upon the articulation points, we have come up with this number. We can say ka, kha, ga, kha, nga, cha, cha, ja, ja. That aspirant sounds. Because of the common articulation points, we have removed from the number. So that's how we came up with this number, 26.
And the vowels, the 3 you mentioned.
Pardon me?
The vowels, the 3 you mentioned, what are they to highlight?
Thank you. A, E, O. I said only 3. Because A is coming from within without any touch from navel through the mouth, through the labials. Nothing is there, just like a venu, like a flute. Starts from the bottom, it comes through all the way out. E, when we say E, we are introducing a spatial element. Spatial element gives away the kala, Vartamana kala. E, it's now. U, it's giving again a time, sense of time. That means now and then, forward, bhavishyat kala. So what is happening here? A, E combined becomes A. We have to close our eyes and try to pronounce and see what is happening within when we pronounce A. Where did it start? Where did it come from? Where is it spreading to? Where is it coming out? How is it coming? What is the sound formation? If you see that, A is the combination of A and E. O is the combination of A and U. These are combined alloyed sounds. That is the reason why we come up to the brevity, we come up to the basic Akshara. That means we don't want any mergers, blends and alloys and all that stuff. We just want the basics. And I, ow. A and A becomes I. A and O becomes ow. We need to close our eyes, feel what is happening within, how the air is moving, what are all its articulation points it is spreading through. That means, Vadana Gahvaram, Mukha Gahvaramlo, Urusukuni, that means it touches every part of the oral cavity. This is called Guha. Guha is Subramanya Swami worshipped. Shanmukha, because it has 6 articulation points. Shanmukha. And who is the leader for this? Ganapati. Who is the Ganadhipati? Ganesha. Ganesha and Subramanya are sons of Shiva. Shiva is nothing but Vak, Saraswati Shakthi, Akshara Shakthi, Akshara Brahman. That. And so, once we make these Aksharas, we do need to have a proof.
Yes. I was going to come to that question. How do we articulate that proof, the experience of an individual to another?
Because our ancestors, the Rishis, Mahamunis, Upasakaras, and Sadhakas, they all have given us all sorts of facilities and paved path for us. And what is happening here is to understand and to give a proof of existence of anything, any perception. It has some ways and they have created. In Bhartruhari Vakyapadeya, he gave 6 different ways of pramanas. Okay? And those pramanas give away the formation of Vakya. Vakya has words. In Vakyas, the words have particular meaning. By forming into Vakya, they give a complete meaning to it. So Vakyapadeeyam gives human perception as Pratyaksha Pramana, right? That is the Pratyaksha Pramana. And our intelligence try to infer. Inference is Anumana Pramana, we start thinking. And comparison, we try to compare. That is Upamana. And then postulation, Adhavati, he named it as that. So, and then what happens, next step is non-apprehension, Anupalabdhi, that's the word used. And finally, verbality, that is the Shabda that we make. So the Shabda that we make, these 6 gives away the meanings of all the words. And Pratisakyas, Siksha Granthas, Mimamsa Granthas, Nyaya, Vedanta, Sankhya, all these accept the validity of Shabda given by Shabda Pramana principle by Vakyapadeeyam. Now we are here to bring it. Would these Pramanas give the power of Akshara? Will they help us? Yes, we know that they are useful to understand a vak, depending upon Panini's Maheshwara Sutra and Paniniya Siksha. But would the Aksharas that we make, can we use these 6 Pramanas to understand? Means, Shabda Pramana broadly defined as obtaining knowledge by means of linguistic methodology, that is oral or written. That means already said, already uttered. It would help. But what about the stage before? And Vakyapadeeyam, Bhadrahari talks about Para, Pasyanti, Madhyama, Vaikhari, 4 stages. That means from Uha to Ucharana, from thought to word. He talks about all those things. Then formation of sound, Shabda, is Vak. And is Vak the Akshara? A single Akshara can be a Vak, but Vak always has Aksharas. So that is the one step lower we are going. One step underneath, that means we are going deeper. We are going profound. So the question remains, the big knot is still there. Are these Pramanas help us understand Akshara, Akshara Shakthi? Can they give the meaning, purpose, strength from each Akshara? In Sanskrit language, each vak, each padam has a dhatu. The dhatu gives away the meaning in 2 ways, whether it is a noun or verb. Nama vachakam, kriya vachakam. Do Akshara has nama vachakam and kriya vachakam? That is the study of Aksharapadeeyam. Knowledge can be conceived only with the help of Aksharas. Is Akshara a noun or kriya vachakam? That is nama vachakam or kriya janyam. So what are the articulation points for Aksharas? Not the pranaksharas and hallu, sparshas that we are pronouncing in the oral cavity. Where are the Aksharas forming? The energy, where is it forming? That is what Aksharapadeeyam is trying to do. Darshanas, that is sciences. Pratisakshas are the 6 branches that Veda gave. And koshas, the lexicons, of course. Anukramanikas are indexes that are created. And bhashantarīkarana, that means translations. Bhashyas, commentaries. Vyutpatti paryaya pada kosha, that means thesaurus. Nikhantu, dictionaries. Diksha granthas, all this will give us an extraordinary structure, understanding about the words that are spoken. Aksharapadeeyam will give the experience of the words in the Akshara level where we haven't spoken, which is in the Hridaya Sthana or our Shat Chakra or our Uha Sthana. And so what is happening is, I strongly believe that the words that are given in Veda, Amnayam, Shruti, Trayi, and Vedam, these words and the doctrines will give us complete formation of Aksharas. And so, Aksharapadeeyam is trying to look into those at various levels. So mainly, before I conclude my episode, 2 aspects. Akshara is within. Bhashaksharas are expressed, uttered. Utterance and the stages before. The Akshara Sthiti is what we need to do. So in the next episode, what we will do is, we will take the Aksharas What happens when we pronounce A? What happens when we pronounce E and U, the Pranaksharas? And we will take one aspect in each episode and we will come up with a theory that Aksharapadeeyam is trying to give to the world. Yes?
Yes, so beautiful. Thank you so much. What an enormous knowledge that you have shared. And again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, great homework for me, but very eloquently put. You really experienced, walked me through, and I'm sure your viewers also. Thank you again, Sharada Garu. Can't wait for the next episode. Namaste.
Namaste, Vani. Thank you very much. And my viewers, I hope you will take this journey along with me to understand what Aksharapadeeyam stands for. Namaste to everyone.